Hardcover Feedback. I'm Tracey Hill.
And I'm Jen Billingsley.
We are reading Mom's Cancer by Brian Fies.
When Brian Fies' mother is diagnosed with lung cancer, Fies and his family are, like so many other families, thrown into an experience no one ever wants. Originally written anonymously as a webcomic, Mom's Cancer tracks his mother's path throughout her illness as she pushes along while her grown children and their absent father struggle with her illness and with one another.
Your brain tumor is 24 millimeters. How big is that? I was a 99th percentile child. In school, I read entire textbooks in days, and I retained it all. I spent months doodling. I majored in physics, worked as a chemist, journalist, and science writer. I figure things out. So there was only one thing to do when Mom got ill: read the books, find the resources, flip on the scary smart switch I was too lazy to use most of the time, and cure cancer. I quickly filled folders and binders with facts and theories, drugs and therapies, studies and trials. This was going to be harder than I thought. Nurse Sis manages Mom's meds, making sure she takes the right pills and watching for bad reactions. I unhelpfully tell her things she already knows. All I have to offer is this: I hold a valid driver's license and I know the way to the hospital. I can hang curtains, flip a mattress, load a dishwasher. I can deliver a pizza, lend a steadying arm, laugh at a morbid joke, and compliment a bad wig. And I know the metric system. 24 millimeters is just under an inch. I doubt that's going to be enough. Oh. So glad that this book is in the world, because so many people have gone through this very kind of thing, and you don't often get to see what other people's experiences are like until you're in it yourself. And then when you're in it yourself, it's so easy to feel very alone, like nobody else can really understand and nobody else really knows what it's like. And this is so in-depth a picture of watching your loved one go through cancer. It hurt just to read it.
It was an incredible, it's told in the style of a comic strip, almost like a daily comic strip, except, and there is humor in it, there's definitely humor in it, but it's so, the family gets so stripped down to exactly what their roles are, because he's writing, the author was writing it live. Like he was writing it as he was experiencing each of these things. It was how he was helping, it helped him process the whole experience. And it's so, I cried when I read this book.
I hear you. And I'm glad you pointed out the exact structure of the book, and that it was being published anonymously as the events were happening. So this was when this was appearing for other people to read. These things were still going on. She was sick. It was in the middle of her illness, and
I cannot imagine having, like, reading it, the experience of reading it live. Like we know that his mother did pass away. Like we have closure in a way that this would not have didn't exist when it was live.
The family didn't have, and none of the readers of the webcomic had that closure, because it was an ongoing story. We had no idea.
It was a biography, an autobiography in the middle, like in the trenches.
Yeah, not almost in real time, and it was amazing to read. He handled. What a coping strategy, too, and what a wonderful thing to share with other people, and how intelligently and intimately Fies manages to portray what his family was going through. I have never seen that kind of depth and insight gone through, through this visual medium first, but in any kind of tale of or memoir of illness like this.
Because I think that's part of the strength, is that it's not a memoir. It's a live. Do you know what I mean? It's a live stream.
This is it's memoir by default in retrospect
Yeah.
because this is the published version of everything once it was
Yeah.
all finished.
But it's not
But
like
it's so immediate, and reading it is an immediate experience, which is also probably why it's so affecting.
it's so
and,
powerful and it's so well done.
I mean, if someone's not moved while reading this, even if no one you love, fortunately, has cancer, and you read this anyway, if the reader's not moved by it at all, you're made of stone. You are, you are a statue.
Which is interesting, especially because if comparing it to the first book, you don't get that. There's no arc at all in the first book, and this one had one even though it was live. It's
It had an arc that nobody knew the ending to.
No.
And so, but even just regarding it as a story, taking the autobiography out of it, it's a beautifully told story, and he captures so well one person gets sick and the whole family's affected.
Yep.
Everybody's lives are upended, and they all have to reflect on their own circumstances as they were, and then deal with their mom's circumstances as they unfold.
And the character, the person of nurse sister, and how she comes in like no holds barred and is just getting stuff done because this is also her profession in addition to it being her mother, and that it's so. But all of the characters in it, because they're real people, are never characterized. Like they're never caricatures.
Yes, nobody falls into stereotype. Nobody, and he's very careful not to pigeonhole anybody. Like mom's the sick person, nurse sis is the caretaker, because everyone shifts through those different roles, and he shows them all screwing up. He shows their frustration with the doctors,
With each other
especially, and it is just beautiful overall. I'm so glad I read it.
I also liked that it was an adult parent. Like it was a parent and
they're
adult
all grown.
children.
Yeah, they're all grown, and the dad's like not even in the picture, and when he is in there, it's not in a positive way. So that was quite an interesting thing too.
Yeah. It was a great experience to read it. Very sad. Don't read it in public because you'll cry everywhere.
Chances are really, really strong you will tear up.
Yep.
And for that reason and so many more, I gave it a resounding 4 stars.
And I gave it 3.5.
Okay. We read Mom's Cancer by Brian Fies. Jen gave it 3.5 stars. I gave it 4. This has been Hardcover Feedback. We'll see you next time.